Welcome to the second instalment of the Travelling Transit Channel. Picton on the Transport New South Wales Southern Highlands line has rich railway history. This is known as the Mushroom Tunnel. Originally this tunnel was built in the 1860s. It was originally called the Redbank Range Tunnel. It carried what was then the main Southern Railway, which went via what is now called the Picton to Mittagong Loop Line. As demand for goods shipping services increased, it was decided that a new route was required. The tunnel ceased being used by trains in 1919. During World War II, it was used as a munitions bunker. After World War II, the tunnel was used as a mushroom farm. This tunnel is also said to be haunted. A number of people have lost their lives to trains in this tunnel. Now I'll be roughly following the alignment that the original Main South Railway line would have had taken. The tunnel can be accessed between 8 AM and 2 PM on weekdays if you're interested in having a look for yourself. At this point, the train line would have continued behind these beautiful old buildings. In the 1870s, people travelling on the Great Southern Road needed to pay a toll. This building was the toll house. It also served as the gatekeeper for the railway crossing that was here. It is now a private residence. The Uniting Church was built in 1886 as the Presbyterian Church. As we go down the laneway, you can imagine where the train used to go. There is a clearing that runs behind the tollgate house, making the deviation down to our next stop, the Picton Viaduct. We have now arrived at the Main Southern Railway. You can see Picton Viaduct from here. We will be arriving there shortly. In the early 20th century, this site served as Picton's pool until a council pool was built in the 1950s. The Picton Viaduct was designed by the father of New South Wales Railways, John Whitton. Work commenced in 1862 and took several years to build. It is the oldest existing stone archway over water in New South Wales still in use. It is still structurally sound so many years after it was first built. You can see the top of the viaduct from Picton Railway Station. There are bushwalks you can take along the Stone Quarry Creek under the viaduct, but this fat guy has 2 left feet at the best of times. This beautiful old building has a bit of history that is linked to the railways. When the railway arrived in Picton in 1863, in that same year, the Terminus Hotel was licensed. In 1877, the hotel was leased as a private hospital for tuberculosis patients, which were delivered by train. The hospital ceased operations in 1888 when the Queen Victoria Hospital was built on the road between Picton and Thelmy. The hotel then reverted back to being a hotel known as the Club Hotel, and then later the Imperial Hotel. It has been vacant since 2014. Sadly, this was a great pub. This building was once the station master's residence. Built in 1877, it's now a private residence. One of my favourite restaurants, Baby's, is on the site of the Feather and Fur Factory, also known as the Cheese Factory. It was built in the 1920s. When I was young, this building was almost nothing but rubble and some of the rough outside fascia. It has been reconstructed to be similar to its original features. Picton Railway Station has this interesting art installation. When the railway arrived in Picton in 1863, the railway station buildings were opened at the same time. The signal box was opened in 1919 to coincide with the creation of the new main southern line and the Picton to Mittagong loop line.
For more information, visit transportnewsouthwales.info.
Picton Station is an interesting station in that in order to go to a destination that is north of Picton, you actually have to go south. And to go to a destination which is south of Picton, you've got to go north out of Picton Station. On the old main southern railway line, The gradient out of Picton was quite steep. Trains required an additional locomotive to assist in getting up the hills. The locomotive was housed in the roundhouse and turntable in this area. There is no sign of this infrastructure these days. In this area, there was a Malden railway station from 1889 to 1976. Somewhere amongst the trees is the unfinished bridge that would have formed part of the Malden to Dumbarton railway line, which would have been largely used for freight. Sadly, this bridge claimed the lives of a couple of workers. It was never completed. Well, that's it for another video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed it. Bye bye.